Ahoy, mateys! Happy Friday, everyone. Welcome to Pop Chat on this International Talk Like a Pirate Day. Who knew? So, if you have any meetings left today, you know what to do. Good to see you all. Oh my gosh, I'm loving this energy already. Hey, Danny. Hey, Nicolay, Lathan. Brianna is ready. Oh my goodness. Justin, the Unfortunately I Love trend, that is one of my favorites. Mine was pretty controversial with some of the things I shared, including very offensive. I enjoy clapping when the plane lands. People did not like that. I consider myself more hip than pop, but I still hopped on the chat. Glad you're here. Welcome. Hey, Alexa. Ahoy. You know, I really should have gotten an eye patch. Kathy Ann, so great to see you. Justin, the thing I've noticed about this trend, I don't want to say there's a wrong way to do it. However, a lot of people are including things that like everyone loves. Unfortunately, I love, petting dogs in public, or, unfortunately, I love chicken nuggets. Like, that's not how this works. This is the time to be vulnerable and and tell us who you really are. That's why it's unfortunate. Fortunately, we all love petting dogs in public, Thank you so much. Thank you for the segue, Monique. This is my cute hat from our friends at Zapier. Zapier. It's Zapier. That's what we're going with. That's how you pronounce it. And it's going to take some time, but it's Zapier pronounced like happier. So that's how we're going to remember it. Where's the eye patch? I know it couldn't get here in time. Amy's here. I clap when the plane lands. It is a miracle that we are on the ground. Thank you so much, sir. If there is any, job well done that I want to clap for, it's landing a plane. Okay. Justin, mine was, I love watching trashy reality TV because it reminds me that my life isn't that bad. This is how I feel when I watch Judge Judy. I'm like, at least I'm not that person. I talk like a pirate every day. Every day. Fired that count. What? I need to hear it, Danny. I need you to say it with your whole chest. Zapier for the win. Yes, we love them. We love them. They sent me this cool hat, and I'll show you why. I think a lot of you saw, but we're gonna get into it. Welcome to Pop Chat. We might have some first timers. We're gonna get into it. But if you haven't already, tell us who you are, where you're joining from, and what you do. Kathy Ann, I'm so happy you're back. I was on Twitter the other day going through some old Pop Chat tweets, and I was finding everyone from Twitter that I hadn't converted to my LinkedIn stream. We're still streaming on Twitter, so if you're watching there, hello, Twitter friends. But I was happy to find you on here too, so thanks for coming back. Great to see you. So introduce yourselves. I'll take a moment to tell you a little bit more about me. I'm a marketer, but also a pop culture fangirl, which is why we're here to talk about pop culture and marketing. I love the Backstreet Boys. I love early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s music, all the things. Studied advertising and PR, climbed a corporate ladder a few years. Now I teach at the University of Florida, which this is the chomp. I still admit it's hard for me to do because I got my undergrad at the University of Central Florida and they kind of have my heart, but we'll do a little chomp for my employer. Okay. This is like the scene in Selena, Danny, when she's like, Selena, how do you keep your figure? Every girl wants to know. I eat entire medium pizzas all by myself. Kyle's here. An interview in 20 minutes. Excited for you. And yes, I saw your DM right before I came on that the little one has COVID. I'm so sorry to hear that. Hopefully he gets well soon. He gets well really soon. Keep us posted. Rapali's here from LA, Learning and Development Manager. Great to see you. Back in the house. I talk like a butt. I was going to say that for that emoji. I was going to say that. Does count. Brand marketing and content consultant from Seattle. Alexa's here. Backstreet Boys, yes. All the fans are welcome. So speaking of the Backstreet Boys, introduce yourselves because unlike what they say when, in the As Long As You Love Me video, I do care who you are, where you're from, and what you do. So what is Pop Chat? We might need a refresher. It is where marketing and pop culture collide. And a fun byproduct of that is community and connection with all of you fellow marketers. So say hello, get to know each other, hang out after the chat, and let's have a good time. Yes, Kathy Ann is a lecturer in marketing and a former communications specialist. Such a smarty pants. And Monique, yes, thank you for the segue. That Zapier sent me this hat thanks to this this poll I did a few weeks ago saying that I'm going to name baby number 2 after the winner of this poll. And it was clearly Zapier, which I think has a really nice ring to it. And how freaking cute is this? They also sent me this little onesie. How adorable. And yes, on it, it says Zapier rhymes with happier. So it's going to be a good chapter with our little boy coming in January. So thank you, Zapier. This is just so cute, so adorable. And they won the poll by a landslide. So you might see it charting in some baby name, baby name rankings. Yes, I love you, little Zap. Zap for short. It just fits. Hey, Anthony. Amy from Baltimore is here looking for a new role in marketing. Okay. Keeping my eyes peeled. Yes. Isn't it so cute? He's going to be this little. I can't. So look at all the little smiley faces too. Thank you, Zapier. Big fans. The onesie. I know. Yes, it's French. Pronounce your kid's name. Zapier. My husband is French, so I will be thinking about it. The onesie is so cute. So send some love to Zapier. We love tools that help marketers become more efficient and do our jobs better. So yeah, say it with your whole chest. That's what we do around here. So yes, thank you to our friends at Zapier. And the way Pop Chat works, be you. There is no authority here as far as the questions and talking about marketing, whether you are new to the field or you're a CMO, all perspectives are welcome. So share your thoughts, reply to others, and have some fun. So for the icebreaker today, I'm really excited for this one. I am dying to know, who is a celebrity you've met in real life? If you've met a few, go ahead and list them. Amr Polly, I don't know, you're in LA. I'm sure you've had some really cool sightings. But I bet all of you have some cool stories. We probably won't have time to get to all of them, but who is a celebrity you've met in real life? Monique. Monique, we're going to call you Mo. Okay, I like that. Like Baby Zap, little nickname. Marketing nerd looking to make my way into the marketing world. You are in the right place. I've loved your contributions and your discussions here at Pop Chat, Monique. So you definitely fit in. A celebrity I've met in real life. I've met Dan Marino before as a Floridian. Also randomly Johnny Knoxville and a lot of the Jackass gang was at our Divey College bar back in the day. So I have a picture with him. And of course, you've seen my picture with the Backstreet Boys. But other than that, no one's super notable. I've met Morgan Fairchild, who played Chandler's mom on Friends. So random. You saw Denzel Washington out and about. Oh my gosh. Kathy Ann has met Jeffrey Goldblum. Anthony met so many celebrities. I worked for a famous guitar player named Steve Vai, which connected me. Oh, we need names. We need names, Anthony. I met Brooke Shields after she starred in a Broadway show. That is amazing. I don't think you want my list, though. A few that I liked meeting: LL Cool J, Sarah Jessica Parker, Morgan Freeman. See, I could never live in LA. I could list more, but thought I would contain myself. Maybe we'll do a part 2 of this icebreaker. We'll circle back on this at the end. Kristen Chenoweth. Best thing I come up with when I talked to her was I played Sally Brown too. Oh, it's so awkward. Bumped into Fred Armisen in 3 different airports. Never said hi. Aw. I did see someone on an airplane recently. Oh, you guys saw this. I saw Randy from Say Yes to the Dress, not super, not an A-list celebrity or in Hollywood, a little reality star, but he was so nice. Jeff Goldblum at a cricket match where you were bartending. What? There's a story, I bet. Yes, we're popping off. Come say hello. Oh, NBA star, designer Tanya Taylor, some cool ones, Alexa. Sierra and Casey Anthony's dad, not a celebrity, but during the height of it all, it was nearly the same. So, fun fact, Danny, I actually was at UCF, University of Central Florida, while the Casey Anthony trial was going on, and a friend and I went to the trial one day just to experience it. It was crazy. Ugh. Anyway, so yeah, interesting. Keep sharing if you have had any other celebrity sightings. But yeah, someone was saying, yeah, it just like you get super nervous or you never said hi. Like one time I was at a Backstreet Boys like after party after the concert, and all of them were there. And I had taken selfies with a couple of them. And this one girl gave me her phone and asked me to take a picture of her with Howie, with one of the Backstreet Boys. And I just like forgot how an iPhone worked. I was like, I don't know how to work this camera. Please help. So, all right, let's do today in pop culture history, our hashtag holidays. We know it's International Talk Like a Pirate Day, but it's also National Love Your Lunch Day. So tell me what you're having or had for lunch for fun. And did you know that lunch shaming is a thing? This is why this holiday was created. Love Your Lunch Day celebrates food diversity and encourages kids to respect all kinds of lunches at school. But please, just no cooking fish in the break room. that's just being courteous. Jennifer's here. Andy McDowell and Margaret Qualley in a bookstore. Is that really her daughter? I can't remember. I think I looked that up when I watched Maid, and she played her daughter. But no, that's not really her daughter, right? They were probably working on that show. Rachel's here. You've met Justin Timberlake and Jessica Biel. I need that sighting. I need those details. Where? We love lunch and we love talking like a pirate. So ravioli, always a good choice. Chris Kirkpatrick at a minor league baseball game. Aw, I bet he was really, really nice. Really nice. Fried rice. What kind of ravioli? We need all the details. Yes, please eat lunch if this is your lunch break. Jollof rice and spaghetti. Yum. Sounds so good. So yeah, if you haven't talked like a pirate yet in a meeting, now's your chance. And speaking of Justin Timberlake, he's part of my pop culture rewind today, because on this day in 1983, Star Search premiered. And of course, this is before social media, before singers were getting discovered on YouTube and stuff. So just for fun, let's all kind of laugh at young, cute little JT here for a second. Not too shabby. 1992, Justin Timberlake. Love your lunch by not eating at your desk. Yes, this is the adult version. Oh, yes. Okay, she is her daughter. My sister went to UCF. I grew up in Melbourne. My mom tried to get me to date Casey after the verdict. What? I also gave Vinny from Jersey Shore a lap. I love the Jersey Shore guys. Was that during Vinny's time as a Chippendale? That's funny. Chicken and cheese panini. Let's just not even get to the questions. Let's just talk about lunch. Goat cheese and caramelized onion. Oh my God. So good. I love goat cheese. I know people that might be an unfortunately I love, but I do. Garbage wrapped tortilla while standing over the sink. Relatable. Not today, Noah. Not on a Friday. Treat yourself. Oh, there was no sound when I played that? Sorry. Sorry. I think I need to probably change my setting when I play videos on here. Please write that. Worked security for a Justin Timberlake show and was stationed around his dressing room. Jessica Biel was so sweet. Fun gig. Don't you love when they're as sweet as you hoped they would be? They always say never meet your heroes, but I love when they're actually nice. All right, so are you ready, kids? Aye, Captain. Let's get into the trending topics for the week. What's going on in pop culture? So I don't watch The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, but more importantly, how does everyone feel about blue cheese? I love taking a break to discuss this. Please weigh in the comments. But I don't watch this show. If you do, please let me know. But there's Jen Affleck, who has no relation to Ben Affleck, but Duncan made this fun ad. Aye, Captain. Thank you, Anthony. Made this ad where Jen Affleck says that she's like the value Affleck. So she'll do the commercial and she's not going to be as expensive as Ben Affleck, and he's overrated. And, Josh is a huge fan. I'll have to watch it. Whitney was so good. Are we talking about Dancing with the Stars already? Because oh, wait. Yes, that Whitney. I thought you meant Whitney, the pro dancer, but Whitney, yes, from Mormon Wives on Dancing with the Stars. Yeah, she was at the top of the leaderboard. So yes, the whole kind of joke in this commercial is like Jen Affleck is like the younger value Affleck, and Ben is overrated. She kind of like roasts him, and then he pulls up at the drive-thru. But it was to promote Dunkin's $6 value meal that they have. I believe there's video evidence of this somewhere. Affleck needs to get in on this. I was thinking the same thing because they just kept bouncing off the name Affleck throughout the whole commercial. And yeah, they really do need to do something. So this commercial, a lot of people were talking about it, just kind of like this, star power. And, you had two different sort of generations here. But again, it was promoting their $6 value meal. But even in my research and in all the posts I saw about this, that was kind of an afterthought. So my question is, when a campaign becomes more about the celebrity than the product, what impact does that have on the brand? In other words, is it a success if no one remembers the product that you're trying to push with these, big commercials where you might have celebrities, or, a lot of times there's great Super Bowl commercials and you remember the ad, but you can't remember what it's for or what brand it was. So what impact does that have on the brand? Is it still a success? I have some thoughts. I definitely want to hear what you think. And yeah, if you watch the show, let me know. I don't even really get I'll have to see a clip. Is it kind of like, I don't know. I need you to compare it to something. And there's another, I think her name's Taylor, who's going to be the new bachelorette from The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. It seems to be a big deal. Ben comes off good participating in this ad. I feel like Duncan has him on retainer. He's in so many ads and is like the face of Duncan at this point. It's so funny. So yeah, what does this mean? Is it a waste of money to invest in these, in these celebrities and influencers and things if no one remembers the product? Lathan says, if a brand has to rely too heavily on the celebrity, then you live and die by their behavior and fame. Something like Affleck. Ben for Duncan makes sense being from Boston, but not all endorsements are created equal. Yeah, I think this is one of the most authentic celebrity partnerships I've ever seen. And you know what's funny? is Jen Affleck. As I was reading about it, it was like, oh yeah, Ben and Jen Affleck. I'm like, oh, Jennifer Lopez was kind of Jen Affleck too. So there would have been a lot going around there. Lots of Afflecks. Amar Pali says the brand might be remembered, but the product is forgotten. So it depends on what the goal is of the partnership. What is the tie between the brand and celebrity for it to be worthwhile for the product to be forgotten? Yeah. And I think this is a temporary promotion, this $6 value meal. So I don't know. They made this ad for it and it might just be forgotten. It's a success for the celebrity investing this money for a multi-platform. You want the brand's recognition and memory. Definitely a nice paycheck for the Afflecks here. I think there can be a halo effect with celebrity campaigns, but it's important to know who influences your key audience when doing any type of partnership. Yeah, that's a great point, Rachel. I think that's what was unique about this partnership is that you had Jen Affleck, who I think is 26 years old, and Ben Affleck is 53, and she was even like kind of making fun of his age and stuff in the ad. It's like you had two different generations, but I still think 26-year-olds know who Ben Affleck is. So I think it worked. Monique says, since it's not a new product and more of a deal, maybe they were trying to really boost the deal itself. Yeah, we'll have to see some numbers. Jennifer, you're so right. Oh my gosh. Mind blown. You're absolutely right. I forget about her sometimes. Oh, maybe they weren't trying to really boost the deal itself. Yeah, for me on this, and Amar Pali kind of said it. I think as long as the brand is remembered and people are showing up to Dunkin', I mean, they can learn about the value meal as they're in line placing their order. I'm always just going to get donuts, but I think as long as the brand is top of mind to get their feet through the door, you can always take it from there and kind of promote the product or the deal at point of sale. So I think it's okay. I think to Amar Pali's point, the distinction is when you forget the brand entirely, that is a big miss. But if you just kind of forget the specific product that they're trying or deal at that time, I think that's okay. I think it ties the brand to the celebrity, which can make it hard to separate the two. You're always going to associate the celebrity with the specific brand. I do think that the celebrity ads have started to become overdone and almost passe at this point. I was thinking to myself, Alexa, that I'm surprised this wasn't more of like a Super Bowl play. I'm trying to think of just like year round what celebrity ads are running that's not during the Super Bowl. But yeah, I kind of agree. There's a lot going on. I think if it was a new product, they would have focused more on the product itself. Yeah, I would agree. Like it would have been more of like a big launch for something completely new, but like a deal, it's okay if that's forgotten. Just tell me about it when I'm checking out. Okay, moving on. I'm glad Amy's here. We're going to talk about my favorite show. Dancing with the Stars is cool now. We've known it all along, but now there's an article in Glamour with this exact title saying Dancing with the Stars is cool now. And they attribute this to a lot of things. One, the casting has been great. And the cast, they've been getting a lot of big Gen Z influencers. Charlie D'Amelio won a couple years ago. This season, they have Alex Earl. Then they also have plenty for us millennials, like Danielle Fishel is on it. Robert Irwin is another Gen Z. We love him. All these Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Like there's a really fun mix. But the article was going on to say that the dance pros that these celebrities are paired with have become influencers and celebrities in their own right. Like this is Whitney Carson, one of the pro dancers, with Danny Amendola, who's a football player from last season. And, she was credited for making this move go viral. And it was all over TikTok. And there's all these sort of share-worthy moments and things happening on TikTok. And So the celebrities, or excuse me, the pro dancers have millions of hundreds of thousands or millions of followers just on their own. And some of them are in relationships with each other or are married, and there's lots of like showmances going on. So they've sort of become stars and celebrities too, which is an interesting shift. Yeah, I just remember when it seemed like it was just me and a bunch of grandmas watching it. It is so entertaining. I've cried watching the show so many times just of how deep it gets, from like a storytelling angle, and people being so vulnerable and trying something they've never done before on national television to literally be judged. Literally, they're going to hold up paddles and give you a score. Like, it's the most incredible concept. Our version strictly starts tomorrow. More controversial than cool. Ooh, I wonder why, Kathy Ann. Tell me more. Now with TikTok and Instagram, yeah. Dancing with the Stars has always been a crowd pleaser. I remember when I was growing up, it was one of those shows that was seen as a family program in prime time. I think the casting is better, less C-listers trying to resurrect their career, and the celebs are taking it seriously too. Yes, they are. Elaine Hendricks. Yes, Meredith from The Parent Trap, another, uh favorite. Sorry, no, I should have clarified. Dancing with the Stars. So let me quote this Glamour article. Oops, sorry, I cut this off. But it says the choreography got edgier and more athletic, the music less wedding DJ and more top 40, and crucially, the commanding cadre of pros. I don't know how to pronounce this word. Cadre of pros, excuse me. The backbone of the show, who often seem to be encouraged to retreat in order to let their partner shine, moved to the forefront and started amassing giant social media followings, turning them into bankable influencers and ironically stars in their own right. So this was a really great article. And I zoomed out a bit and I wanted to talk to you guys about sort of EGC, I guess, employee generated content, and employees, instead of just being in the background of your brand and your company, coming to the forefront a little bit more. And we see a lot of people do that on LinkedIn. And there are so many brands now that when I see them, I immediately associate them with someone I follow on LinkedIn who is very vocal with their personal brand. So should more brands and companies encourage employees to build their social platforms? What are the pros and cons of this? Now, something like Dancing with the Stars, I mean, their employees are, they're on television. They're going to kind of become famous themselves. But we've seen a lot of people with great personal brands, and employees kind of using their voice. So, oh boy, lots going on over there. Affairs, personalities don't mesh, loads of stories in the media of bad behavior. All press is good press. Yes, they do theme nights. There were a couple that I was looking forward to. I'm blanking on what any of them are. Oh, One Hit Wonder Night is next week. I think Alex Earl, I saw, is doing Mambo number 5. Amazing. If they bring in money, they better be getting paid for it. Ooh, the pro dancers. Yeah, they also get so many brand deals. It's got to be a dream job. If you're a dancer, like you dream of growing up, you love dance, you want to become a dancer, you're on this incredible show. It is so selective. There's only like, I don't know, 20 of them, maybe less. You work for like 3 months out of the year. And then you go travel and get all these brand deals and have like this off season. It's so fun. Employees, yes, make the brand feel more human. I wish I could remember who said it, but I saw this interesting take from someone on LinkedIn that said it's pretty much pointless for your company to be posting on LinkedIn. If you want your company to, build its LinkedIn presence, you need the CEO making content. You need the founders making content and your employees. Like, no one is reading your company's LinkedIn posts. Employee ambassadors are a huge asset. Rachel says they're underutilized. People trust people. Arm your employees to be your best spokespeople. Yeah, and I think there's a big misconception where brands try to discourage this, or they don't want their employees out there kind of shining on their own. They're like afraid of them being poached and, hired elsewhere, but you always run that risk. So keep your people happy. Lathan says, one of the things I'm proud to push where I work is the initiative of using people in the office to make content for the brand's platforms. A personal following can be good for getting hired, but the internet always brings risks. It does. It does. That is true. But Lathan, I think I know what you're doing. I think you probably put some good guidelines and guidance in place for people to be more vocal in a way that, isn't risky. TikTok theme night. Yes. Amy, thank you for bringing that up. That's also, again, just proving that they've done sort of a brand refresh. They're keeping up with the times in a way that's working for them and isn't cringy. And if you read my newsletter, I was writing about this and I said that Cracker Barrel maybe needs to take some notes. They're working on it, but you can refresh a brand and make it work. Jonathan's here. It depends. LinkedIn pushes employee voices over corporate pages for pro, but it's only as good for the company as long as they're employed there. A con for the company. Yes. Some employees kind of become indispensable and they become so strongly associated with that brand that when they leave, it's like, and on that note, someone who I think is indispensable, wow, this is like a great tie-in. Someone I think is indispensable is Cody from Peloton, Cody Rigsby. He is such a hoot. People love him. He actually was on Dancing with the Stars. And I feel like people would riot if he left. So yeah, that can kind of be a con, as when that person leaves, you have this voice and these shoes to fill. Rapali says, I think it depends on the industry. Hospitality can be a hit or miss. Engaging is always all right. However, there is also an element of protecting the brand, or so your behavior should not cause shame. I love when we do employee spotlights. Yeah. And I think to Lathan's point, making it like something you guys talk about together. Maybe you participate in some kind of LinkedIn challenge where you all post, I don't know, you come up with a theme and then you all share a story about that. And so it's not so lawless, if you will. I mean, it's their LinkedIn. They could post whatever they want. But if you're trying to encourage colleagues and coworkers and employees, like give them some ideas that work as their sort of sandbox so they're not all over the place and it can kind of be a little bit more on brand. I think people like to see the behind the scenes. So it's fun to see when a brand posts their work process and the faces behind them. It connects the audience on a different level. That being said, employees don't always want to make TikToks after a long day of work. Yeah, it's like if you want your employees to make EGC, let them do it on the clock, Kathy Ann, yes, with training and a clear policy, yes, as to how to separate work from personal, who's allowed to post what. But I think it is good if it is a willing participation and spread the word. Looks like you have proud employees happy to share their association with the brand. Yes, that is ideal. More cons than pros. Yes, I would agree with that right now. Chris says, might not be the brand encouraging any employee to build their socials as a brand ambassador, but brands finding their employees who already have a good personal brand and social presence and supporting them. Yeah, and maybe some employees don't want to become the face of your brand. Like you have to make it fun. You have to make it, not just about you as the company. Like don't just do this on my behalf. Let's have a bigger goal here. Cody, yes. A lot to unpack with this one. Alexa says, I would say yes to the founder, execs, and other thought leaders at the company. However, I think most professionals should build a platform based on their expertise, not on behalf of the company. Ooh, I think that is a really excellent distinction. I think that's what makes it mutually beneficial and kind of sincere, is like telling your employees, hey, we don't want you to make content just about us. We want you to make it based on you and your skills and and the amazing things you're doing. It happens to be for us, but we want to shine a light on the work that you're doing. Cody did the first and only Dancing with the Stars dance over Zoom. That was such a weird season. Ugh. And I feel like a lot of them, kind of got robbed with that whole COVID era of Dancing with the Stars. I want to call out Duolingo. Their employees are literal cartoon characters in the app that guide you through your learning. They become your friends and coaches. I wonder what happens to the cartoons when the people leave the company. I don't know that I realized this. That's so fun. Benjamin's here. I think everyone should be encouraged to build their platforms because I like to believe that employers should prepare their employees. Social media can help employees grow, not just be an effective EGC strategy. That is so beautifully worded, Benjamin. That's the most sincere way of putting it. And I think I think you're exactly right. That's how brands should approach this, not just like, hey, we need our employees to make content for us, but no, we want to help you, amplify your voice. Yes. Authenticity. It is true. All right. So I can't believe South Park is still on the air. How long has it been? I remember this being on, I think, in premiering when I was in like elementary school. Good for them. They were supposed to air a new episode this week, and the writers shared an article and admittedly said that they had kind of procrastinated. Granted, there is a lot going on in the world right now. I don't know that I realized that their episodes were released that down to the wire. But they said apparently when you do everything at the last minute, sometimes you don't get it done. The pair said in a joint statement about their 27th season. This one's on us. We didn't get it done on time. Thanks to Comedy Central and South Park fans for being so understanding. Tune in next week. So how relatable is this? We need more time. Yeah, speaking of Duolingo, Zarya leaving. Yeah, I'd never really seen that either. Someone leaving a company has made headlines the way it did, at least in social, you know. And Jennifer says, and when the company has encouraged employees to build a platform, engage with the corporate social platform, but then lays those employees off. Ooh, yes. Ooh, important considerations to think about. So lots of pros and cons, but let's talk about procrastination. Let's get a little vulnerable here. How do you talk yourself into starting a task when a task feels too big or daunting? What habits or self-talk help you act? What kind of gets you through? What kind of mindset shift do you transition into to finally overcome procrastination? Or maybe there's something in your workflow that you've done to make it easier not to procrastinate. I've been procrastinating on this very much lately, so this is a bad example. But I have a book in the works, and when I sit down to write, I actually have in my Google Chrome, I have a bookmarks folder where you can group a bunch of tabs to like open at the same time in that bookmarked folder. So I can start a new Chrome window and it opens all the associated tabs that I need to start writing. So I don't have to like painstakingly go through all of them. It just puts me in like book mode. This is my Google Doc. This is my, outline. This is this. This is that. Do you want to get paid? Yeah. That will do it. That will do it. Oh, I didn't know that. The famous documentary, 6 Days to Air, takes you through their week over week. I never knew this about South Park. That's incredible. I always think the same thing about Dancing with the Stars, that it's week to week. It's live television. There's costumes, there's song selection, there's the choreography that the pros have to come up with. There's getting all the camera angles and making sure the camera crew is moving with the same flow as the dancers. There's graphics, there's so much that goes into it. So live television and now South Park. Yeah, that's so impressive. Super relatable. Can't tell you the number of missed deadlines due to procrastinating. Yeah. I procrastinate, but I think to the point where I don't miss the deadline. I'm just working right up to it. Like, I'll be honest, I finished Pop Chat last night at 10:30. I'll get it done, but it's not going to be fun. This is a good tip. Lathan says, as far back as elementary school, my parents taught me to do a piece of it and get the work going so I can get into a groove or at least feel like it is in progress, which makes going back to it easier. I love that. I need to get in the habit of spending just 15 minutes a day on my book and writing. And I know I fill those 15 minutes with other distractions and things, and there's no excuse for it. And yes, to your point, sometimes just doing a piece of it, you might think, oh, while I'm here, I'm enjoying this process. I'm in sort of this groove or flow state. I'm going to keep going. So, yeah, don't make it daunting. Use just like a piece of it. I love that. Polly says, ask questions to those who assign the task. Start small. Spend a few minutes working on that task. Shift to something that excites you or get a treat. Get a treat. That's get a treat to re-energize and come back to it. Yes, get a treat because you deserve it. Where's my woo, hold on. Hold on. You get the special sounds today. That is what motivates me. Yeah, all the television was like this back today, live every week. I miss like appointment television. I try to dig into what is making it feel big or daunting. Sometimes a good old-fashioned brain dump on paper or a blank document helps me get thoughts out and I could organize them from there. Yeah, and then you get excited. You're right. It won't feel daunting anymore if you at least get some ideas on paper, even if it is chicken scratch, you can go from there. Oh, Chris has been applying some of his reading, 1 book a week for the whole year. Have been trying to apply the getting things done method from David Allen's book. What's the next important thing to do today? Not trying to look at the entire task or job, but just that next thing. Yeah, I hate this phrasing, but you guys have heard of like the eat the frog method, or, you should eat the frog first thing in the morning, meaning do the most daunting, sort of unpleasant thing on your to-do list first thing if you can. Because I'll do that too. I'll have like this big thing that is the most important thing of the day, but I'm not ready to get to it. So I'll fill my day and cross off all the little things, and then my whole day is gone and I didn't get to the big thing. When something feels daunting, definitely helps to break it down first. This is all great advice. Oh my goodness. The timer cube, 15-minute increments, and we'll set it for 15, 30 minutes to focus on that one thing I need to get done. I need one of those. Model employee. Model employee who's open for work. Please hire Noah. I always feel better. Noah, let us know what kind of roles you're looking for. I always feel better when I take action versus just thinking about taking action. I start small and embrace a done is better than perfect attitude. Beautifully said. Beautifully said. I need to take that advice more often. Bird by bird. Start in the middle. Just write something. I'm going to share all these because I feel like we all could benefit from the tips here. Really fun and quirky focus timers in your extensions on YouTube, app stores. There's so many. Yes, Pomo Focus is a good one. Working in a hotel, there's a coffee shop to get a treat. Yeah, it's the best. Jonathan, using Asana has been a new addition for me this year, and building out and seeing the entire process helps chunk daunting projects into easier parts. And it's so gratifying to cross that off. Pravir says, I don't know why, but the story of Sisyphus always helps me. I find comfort in knowing that at least I'm not in his situation. Every task feels small then. I need a reminder of this Sisyphus Greek mythology, I'm assuming, or philosophy. It's somewhere up in my college education, and I'm, very rusty. My issue is that I'm bad at breaking down the big things into smaller things. Yeah, I mean, starting with an outline could help. I've always wanted to invent some kind of word processor. It probably exists, like a Google Doc that's not just a blank document. It kind of like looks pretty and like makes it exciting to keep going, to keep writing. So thanks for all the tips, everyone. Here's to not procrastinating, but it's Friday. It's the freaking weekend. So, you know, be productive if you must, but also take care of yourself. And it's feel good Friday. So share some good news, maybe something you're looking forward to, something you accomplished this week, personal, professional, anything. Give us something to celebrate. You can shout someone out. I would love a round of applause because I survived 11 days of solo parenting with my husband on a work trip. I was alone with my 1-year-old, and we made it. And he got back last night. Rolling the rock up the hill. Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. King cursed, yes, to endlessly roll a boulder to the top of a mountain only for it to fall down again forever. I always see that like drawing as well, also without any reward. It starts from the mind. Keep the mind healthy. Yes, it's all a mindset. Noah's got jobs. Any of these, FBI agent, keep them in mind. Start with small tasks or tasks I know that are easy first to get momentum going, then do the bigger tasks. Yeah. Good systems, friends. Please share some good news. I want to celebrate you, but let's wrap up with some industry news. I saw this yesterday that after Taylor Swift appeared on the New Heights podcast and said that she's obsessed with making bread, Pillsbury launched a funfetti sourdough bread mix. I don't know much about baking bread. I've never made bread from scratch or any other way. And I didn't know it was possible to make it from a box. It's probably not good for you. But I thought this was so cute. Funfetti sourdough. You can see it's kind of got their Life of a Showgirl branding to go with her new album. Ooh, it's pumpkin season. Making a gluten-free pumpkin cheesecake for a friend this weekend. Oh my gosh, please make a thread about that and what it taught you about B2B sales, Jonathan. But I just want to hear that process. Kathy Ann got a good ranking on our marketing degree program in the UK. Of course you did. Jumping for joy. Rapali knocked it out of the park with an executive leadership presentation and got huge kudos from 3 top leaders for a mini project. So you deserve a treat, is what you're saying. You deserve a treat. One of my videos on TikTok went absolutely viral. Drop the link. What is it about? Marketing to the Swifties is an art itself. Monique, I think you need to write about it and post about it and be in our marketing circles much more. I want to hear your thoughts. Oh, she talked about making a funfetti sourdough. I forgot that detail. Savannah's here. I refuse to make bread on principle, but I will gladly eat it when provided. I have this small business near me called Bread by Johnny, and I'm obsessed with it. He has so many different varieties, and that's pretty much all he sells is bread and bagels. And I was just thinking this morning, like, my life has been so much better since I have a bread guy, and I just like make it a ritual, like every Friday or whatever, like go and pick out bread and not get it at the grocery store. It's just like a nice thing. So yeah, I'm not making it either. I'm gonna support small businesses. That's what I'm telling myself. Yeah, tell us more about the video, Alexa. That's so cool. As someone who made bread during COVID, where was bread mixes in a box? Yeah, I don't know that I've ever seen this before. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the question while I keep reading your thoughts here. But so yeah, Pillsbury pretty quickly assembled and made this product. But my question for you is, how do you decide if a trending topic is worth turning into a campaign or product instead of just a meme or social post? Like, they saw this headline and said, okay, we can make like a joke about it that, oh, we should make funfetti, bread mix. But it's so easy for brands to jump on a trend and just do it with social, but it's always cool to see how brands take it a step further and do some type of product launch or some kind of bigger initiative. So how do you decide if it's more than just a social post? Chris said, sent someone a notification that they were selected to win a trip to London to see a Jags Jaguars LA Rams game. What was their reaction? That's so cool. You get to be like Santa for the day. Baked bread and focaccia about 2 to 3 times this last couple of weeks. You all are baking stuff and not posting it on LinkedIn. Like, that's what we want. I think I speak for everyone. We want that on the feed. We want to see the charcuterie board on Rapali. Please post about it, but glad you're getting a treat. The video was about how we're moving from lifestyle content creation to knowledge-based content creation, and it's leading to an emerging model of business, entrepreneurial journalism, where you essentially use your expertise to build a monetize. I need to watch this. Thank you for the link. The link is here, folks. I'm going to make sure I copy and paste that. How do you do that? What was I talking about? What was I talking about? Who knows? I haven't shut up. You can make a post saying you have the new product and use social listening to see if there is a real need. Ooh, that's risky. And if there is, then kind of scramble and make it later. Maybe do some kind of, I don't know, pre-order situation. I like it though. That's a good way to experiment. If Taylor Swift made it trend, make the product. Everyone hire Amy. She gets it. They were probably planning for it for a while and just waiting for the Taylor shoe to drop. Yeah, then they were able to make it like nicely branded to her. Savannah, I think research plays a role. Yes. Is there room in the market for said product? But I'm also starting to get burnt out on brands being overly trendy in general. Yeah, I think was it Pillsbury? They do toaster strudel, right? Remember when they did the Mean Girls toaster strudel? I want to say it was last year because Gretchen Wieners, didn't her dad invent toaster strudel, supposedly? I like stuff like that. I think it works for Pillsbury because they're so just cute and fun. But yeah, it can really become a novelty. In this case, it's really a product collab. Taylor is a product with billions of consumers to tap into and turn into Pillsbury customers. We might have to all buy this and do a little experiment of our own. The audience size, there were so many eyes and ears on the podcast. Plus, who doesn't like rainbow food? Funfetti, anything. I agree with Lathan. I just start when I remember. Hope I'm saying this properly. Mayo-kun, thank you for being here. Yes, Lathan always has great takes. Jonathan's in his baking era, we're going to call it. But I feel like Duncan has been doing that a lot in the last few years, leaning into doing trending stuff and products. Yeah, are they the ones who have done Dolly Parton bake mixes? I've definitely seen those. I don't know if it's Duncan or Betty Crocker or something. Kathy Ann says, marketing is such a risk. Can you sustain content around it? Does it match your plans and your target audience? If yes, then take the informed risk. I need to go back and see when they're launching this too, because I think if they do it like at the same time as the album release, that's really fun. You all are on fire today. Benjamin, if it fits into your brand purpose, brand mission, then it'll connect with your audience best. Benjamin, I wonder where you learned all that. Pravir says, trending topics alignment with the brand should be a priority. It can't be widely different. Yeah, so do we think this suits Pillsbury? I think you have to look at it to see if the margins are good. Ooh, yep. And you'd see the ROI from it. You also could do a limited edition if you weren't sure of the reception. I feel like, yeah, for Pillsbury, they're like, we already have these funfetti sprinkles. We already have flour or whatever goes into baking, their cake mix. What if we just, we need one more ingredient and boom, we have bread mix. Let's do it. Like, yeah. Duncan Hines. Okay. Stop and think if you're jumping into the trend. If jumping into the trend helps your customers get what they need, if it's just an attempt at grabbing attention, maybe let it slide by. Duncan is Holly. Yeah, I like this, Chris. I think for Pillsbury, like I just picture them as a brand that's just about joy, like maybe some fans will do fun little bread baking parties during the album release and cool things. Um, Yay. Haven't tried any Dolly bake mixes, but the frozen meals are yum. Chicken and dumplings. Good to know. Okay, Anwar Polly, I need to follow you there. Oh, thank you, Benjamin. You were a great student. On this note, hot off the press, right before I came on Pop Chat, I saw this that Taylor Swift has uh, a Life of a Showgirl movie sort of documentary. I didn't even really have time to read this full caption right before I popped this in, but it's a limited release with exclusive content about the making of this album. She's going to have a world premiere of the music video. It's only from October 3rd to October 5th. And right before Pop Chat, I clicked a link to get into, there's already a queue to buy these movie tickets. So I was like, I've got to go. Hopefully one of my friends will buy them or I'll wait for it to come out on streaming. All right, we're a little behind, but let's do one more question. Oh, this is kind of a big one. But we're talking about Aldi and how they are using pop culture to revamp their social strategy. It says the fast-growing company has turned away from posts that just highlight its low prices and toward more of a playful, culturally relevant content strategy. So before they were just kind of talking about their prices and not being culturally relevant. Yes, I will go for this movie. Taylor is going to save the movie industry. Catherine Sadeka, their marketing director at Aldi, said the shift began when leadership asked her ahead of this year if she was doing what she wanted to be doing with the company's social media content. Imagine that. Leadership asked her. And she said the answer was no. I'm doing what I think the company wants us to be doing and what I've been told is a priority, but it's not really social first and it's not customer first. And that's where we decided to make the pivot. So we love that for her. We wish more companies and leaders gave us that freedom. So my question for you is, what kind of support from leadership makes a social team's job easier and more effective? And maybe you can speak to this from experience. Maybe there's some support from leadership that you're not getting, and you wish you had. So what kind of support from leadership makes a social team's job easier and more effective? If you have to run, I know we're at 158 over here, but let me know what kind of support from leadership makes a social team's job easier and more effective. And while you're thinking about that, I'm just going to show you some examples. They jumped in, speaking of Taylor Swift, on the Life of a Showgirl and did this fun little, revamp of their logo with the orange sparkles. And I remember everyone was so critical of them. It was like, oh, does this align with your brand goals and blah, blah, blah. But this article is showing that content like this is actually more effective for them, or more engaging at least. Here's just some other content from their Instagram. I think they may have just become my favorite brand on social. Little Miss, I don't need a cart. Couch rot session loading with some of these products. They've got White Lotus memes. Like, yeah, customer-centric marketing. That's what we're after. This one I just had to throw in here because I very much relate to this. Say you have kids without saying you have kids. All the berries and fruit. This is the stage of life I'm in. And then this is kind of what their social looked like this time last year. Very product focused, showing catalogs and, these products are fun. These are like cool seasonal ones, but not culturally relevant or customer centric at all. So going back to the question, clear pillars, not too many layers of approval to post. Yes, less corporate tape. Quick approval process so you don't miss your window on hopping on trends that align with your company. That's got to be the case for Aldi and their team. If they, are empowering them to be culturally relevant, like Lathan says, empowerment Trust us to post things and go for it. If we're iffy about something, then we'll bring it to your attention. We'll ask you, but trust us to use our judgment a little more. Not needing to wait for approval. Budget, that too. Realizing that social is worth investing in. Trusting SMMs to do the job they were hired to do. Imagine that. Aldi has a huge community online that follow the aisle of shame alone. Aldi crowd is so loyal. They're about to destroy once the social team taps into that. I actually went to Aldi today because I felt inspired by this article. It is my closest grocery store, but gotta love them. Mayo-kun says followers want to be heard no matter how irrelevant a suggestion is. Leaders should learn to give advice to improve and develop follower suggestions. More people need to be like this, more leaders. And it sounds like you're that type of leader. So thank you for that. Trust in the social team. Sorry, Alexa, I'm going to finish reading that, but Jonathan made me laugh. Today's pop chat is about everything I love, baking and Aldi. Yeah, Jonathan, that's what I need your social, your LinkedIn to be about. It's just your baking and your Aldi hauls. Trust in the social teams, but also time to make sure these efforts work. I think an open mind to running different experiments too. Yes, I love how Catherine, their marketing director, said that this year we're trying to be more culturally relevant. They didn't just give them, runway and say, okay, you can try this for a month. Like they're really giving it a shot and letting her run with it. Leadership should jump into a TikTok or two. Yeah, see how you like it. Triggered by the Little Miss trend circa 2022. That company at the time made me put into every email. Oh gosh. And understanding that their personal preferences and opinions are not as important as what resonates with customers and audience. Yes. Oh my God. I had a client who wanted to change their company logo to a lizard. I'm not even kidding. A lizard because he liked lizards. I'm like, this has nothing to do. Like, you already have brand equity in the existing logo. And I'm just like, why are we doing this? It's like, oh, he likes lizards. No. I've heard their wine and cheese advent calendars are legendary. There is no Aldi here in the Pacific Northwest, sadly. That makes me sad. But yes, wine and cheese advent calendars, that sounds awesome. Amar probably needs to keep us updated on that. All right, friends, that is all I have for you today. Sorry for going a bit over. You all were just, like I said, on fire. So many great responses and thought-provoking things and tips about procrastination, baking, Taylor Swift, Dancing with the Stars. We covered it all. Those calendars sell out every year, I think. I need to look this up. Are they out yet? I didn't see one today. Thank you so much for joining. If you haven't yet and you want more pop culture fun throughout the week, please subscribe to my newsletter. It's briannefleming.com/newsletter. So we can keep this party going. But no lizards. Why? Leaders should expect followers to do should not expect followers to do the research alone. Yes, more buy-in from the leadership team. All right, friends. Oh, thank you, Monique. These are such a fun break in the workday. Yes, happy Friday. Everyone have an awesome weekend. I truly appreciate you joining today and always just sharing your thoughts. And this is my pride and joy. This is so much fun for me. So thank you. Costco does half bottle wine advent. That is so fun. You all teach me so much. You keep me informed about what's going on. So thank you so much. I will see you next time. And everyone have a great weekend. Bye, guys. See ya.